Everyone is chasing the latest hype, but quietly one boring sector is setting up for massive moves. Home builders. The NAIL ETF is flashing a specific signal right now that led to a 420% rally in 2016 and a 240% move last year. For those who are new here, my name is Valentine and I have 5 years of experience in trading the markets, and I run Profit Punch, my free newsletter where I share these kind of setups weekly. In this video, I'm breaking down the home building sector and I'm ranking my top 3 picks from worst to best. You need to stick around for the number 1 pick. It has the strongest relative strength in the group. Here we have a monthly chart of NAIL, which is a 3x ETF of daily home builders and supplies. So you can use this to see the long-term picture and to know when the stocks are going up. Here we have the 10-week simple moving average, and then this black one is a 30-week simple moving average. Whenever we see a crossover above this 10-week, we can see these moves here, these huge moves. And on average here, we see a 420% move. 2019, we see a 150% move. Actually, from the bottom, it was a 370% move. Then in 2023, it was a 350% move. Then 2024, from the bottom, it was a 330% move. And then currently we are seeing something similar. Again, we can expect a move, something like we've seen here in the past, because it's pretty much consistent how far it runs. Now, after that, what we do is that we can go to the daily chart. You always want to have your long-term chart, which is my monthly, which I have here. And then I do have the daily chart over here. The daily chart is used to know exactly when to go in. You see that this trend line has been broken. Then it tries to go above the 50-day simple moving average, and then it fails. But then it fails to form a lower low, and then it recovers immediately on very huge volume. So you see on this particular day when it jumped up, the relative volume was 2.7 times more than what we normally expect. This is a very good sign. After that, the first thing that you want to do is you can either buy the ETF or you can look for the best stocks in the sector, and then you can profit from those. Now, this is not the most hyped sector in the world, so don't try to hold many of the stocks in your portfolio. The best thing to do is to just hold one of them. Before we go into the stocks, here we can see that in 2024, of course, you're not going to buy at the bottom, but let's say you bought here at the gap up. If you put in $1,000, that means it went up about 200%. If you put in $1,000, it turned into $3,000. $10,000 turned into $30,000, and then your risk would have just been just this gap up here, which was just about 6%. There's also here, there's this gap up day here. It always has this gap up days here. Your risk is about 10, and then to the top, you could have gotten a 200% return as well. Now let's go into the top 3 stocks and let's see which ones I think are going to go up. Now, my number 3 pick is a stock called PHM. On the monthly chart, we see a cup on a handle. This is a very good sign. And then on the daily chart, which is where we want to zoom in, we can see that big cup on a handle. But then here on the time where it breaks out, we see an inverted head and the shoulders pattern, which is a very bullish pattern. And then it breaks out on huge volume. The relative volume on this day is 2.2 times what we normally expect. This is a very good sign, and this is the time to buy. You can buy here once it moves above the high of this candle, or you could have bought on the gap up. If you're part of the Profit Punch newsletter, then I'm going to be sending you an email on how you can enter such stocks. Now, my second best pick is TOL. Now, TOL is my second best pick. The first reason that I like this is that it has the second best relative strength in this sector. Relative strength is one of the signals to know which stock is likely to be moving the most. You always want to be in the top 1 to 2 stocks because those stocks will move way more than other stocks. TOL has the second best relative strength in this sector, which is a very good sign. On the monthly chart, we can also see that cup with a handle, just like we saw in the stock PHM before. We can also see that it has formed an inverted head and shoulders pattern on the daily chart. This is a pattern that you should learn. It is taught to you in the Profit Punch newsletter, and it breaks out on huge volume. The relative volume is 2.1 times more than we normally expect. This is a very good sign. You can buy once the move goes above the high of that candle. For such strong moves, you expect the stock to move immediately. If it stalls for a while, then normally it is going to cause a lot of issues. We can see that big cup and the handle that we were seeing on the monthly chart. And then here we see that breakout on huge volume. Then my number 1 pick in this sector that I'm loving is IBP. You always want to be in the best stock. The reason is the best stock will move way more than other stocks and you're likely to get more profit. If we go to the monthly chart as well, we can see the monthly chart here. You can see that cup with a handle. Very clear. Then it forms this tight monthly action. About 4 months is doing nothing. And the good thing here is that the resistance is flat. Flat resistances are usually more trustworthy than resistances that are slanting down. This is a very good sign. And then also, this is a trick that I learned from Jesse Livermore. The stock, once it tries to break out for the third time, that normally shows that breakout is going to be successful. Here we see it forms the top. It tries to break out the first time, it fails. Second breakout fails. Third breakout successful. It does it also in very huge volume. The volume is twice what we expect. If it's 50 above, if it's 1.5 times what you expect in volume, then that is a very good sign. But this one is showing more than that. It's showing twice of that. So that's even a better sign. And then if we put the fundamentals, we can see that the return on equity for this stock is 37%, which shows it's a very profitable stock. But then the revenue and the EPS growth are not growing. Something else is moving this stock that is not purely fundamentals. Like I said, this is not the hottest sector in the world. You want to pick the top of the 1 to 2 stocks, and then you want to be in those. If you want to know exactly when to get in and want to get these alerts into your email, sign up for the Profit Punch newsletter. Let us wait for the future and see which of these stocks is going to bring the greatest returns. My pick is IBP, followed by TOL, followed by PHM. May the markets be with you.